thing just happened at Tesco's. There was this man in front of me in the queue, and he was smiling. Didn't see why he was smiling. The checkouts were only half staffed as usual, and there was a queue about 10 foot deep in front of us. But he had the widest grin on his face. In fact, I couldn't help but stare. Well, he caught my eye, and he told me this story. Things have been bad for him, just as they have been for everyone. He lost his job, as had his father. In fact, his father and mother had moved in with him and his wife, so they could all save a wee bit on the rent. Well, that situation was not the best. Everybody was miserable. His father was miserable at not having enough money. He hadn't planned to spend his twilight days the way they seemed to be going. His mother was losing her eyesight, was always moaning and miserable about that. His father, of course, was miserable about not having the money and having to live in the spare room at his son's flat. And the man's wife, well, the stress of living with your in-laws is bad enough, but she and him had been trying for a baby for several years to no avail, and it was her mother-in-law's favourite topic of conversation. Everything came to a head when the washing machine broke down 3 days after its warranty had expired, flooded the brand new carpet that they had yet to pay for, and all hell broke loose. So the man decided to take the bottles to the bottle bank at Tesco car park to get recycled, just to get out of the house. He arrived at the bottle bank, chock full as usual, and he noticed that there was a green bottle sticking out of the clear glass only container. So, dutiful citizen that he was, he went to remove it, but as he approached he noticed that it was clear glass, but there was something green inside it, something smoky, something alive, and he could hear a muffled There was a hanky stuffed into the neck of this bottle, so he pulled that out and whoosh! Out came a genie. Well, you might have been sceptical. I would have been sceptical, but I do tend to judge people by the contents of their shopping baskets. There weren't any pot noodles or Buckfast bottles in his. On the contrary. Fabric softener, basil in a pot, and aloe vera toilet paper. So he carried on his story and I carried on listening. This genie said, "Oh, thank you so much. I've been stuck in that bottle for a good hour, and I thought I was going to be stuck in there forever. Oh, thank you so much for everything. Wonderful." The man said, well, he asked him, why were you in that bottle? Well, the genie told him that the recession has hit the genie world just as it's hit everywhere else. They are no longer allowed to fly their bottles in from Arabia. Plus the management have some sort of green directive, carbon footprint reduction incentive scheme. So instead they get their bottles from the bottle banks. This genie had been perusing the bottles, trying to find a suitable one, when some Egypt had walked past, sneezed, and stuffed the hanky in the neck of the bottle, thereby trapping him inside. He was very grateful to be out, and he said to the man, "I grant you one wish." "One wish?" the man had said. "One? It's supposed to be 3. "Ah, well," the genie had said to him, "you see, it would have been 3, but a recession again affects us all. We stayed 3 as long as we could, up till a year ago. 6 months ago it went down to 2, and just last week it went down to 1. Sorry. Rules are rules. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 6:30, give you time to think." Well, the man did indeed need a lot of time to think, because he needed 3 wishes. His mum needed her eyesight, his dad needed some money, and his wife needed a baby. He went home and he told his family what had happened. Oh, he can imagine. All hell broke loose again. The mother was saying, oh, but I went through the agony of childbirth for you. I went through the agony of childbirth and I raised you and the least you could do is grant me my eyesight back, son. His wife, oh, but a child is the most precious gift in the world. Nothing else would matter if we had a child. You have to give me a child, husband. Of course, the father was having none of it. What's good of a child, bringing a child into this house when we've got as overcrowded as it is and we've got no money to raise it and they don't stay babies for long, you know. It won't be long till it's 11 or 12 and it's clamouring for an iPod or a Raspberry or whatever they call it these days. Well, screaming, crying, shouting, ranting, raving, he locked himself in the bathroom just to get away, as men tend to do. And it was on that toilet that he had his epiphany. So he bided his time, and 6:30 in the morning, he made his way back to Tesco car park. Genie was waiting. He asked him, well, have you got your one wish? And the man says to me, I did have. I said, what did you wish for? He said, I'll tell you. I wished for my mother to clearly see me and my wife's healthy newborn baby nestling on top of a gigantic pile of £100 notes. And the wish was granted. So I suppose that must explain the aloe vera toilet roll.